He survived the trenches of Verdun. He lost everything. And in the ruins, he discovered an idea that could save the world or burn it to the ground, born in fire. He survived the trenches of Verdun. He lost everything. And in the ruins, he discovered an idea that could save the world or burn it to the ground. The year is 1916. The place is hell, but on the maps, it is called Verdun. Etienne Gilson is not a philosopher yet. He is a sergeant, a piece of meat in a world of mud and iron. The air tastes like iron. The rain feels like iron. Fear is a constant metallic presence in the back of his throat. He lies pressed into the wet, cold earth. The earth is not a metaphor. It is real. It shudders from the explosions. It accepts the bodies of his comrades without ceremony. He remembers Paris, university halls, the smell of old books. He remembers arguments about ideas, beautiful, elegant ideas discussed over coffee. Now those ideas seem distant, useless. They offer no protection from the shrapnel that sings a high, thin song of death. Here, in a ditch, only one thing matters: existence. The raw, brutal fact of being alive for one more second. He sees a man from his unit, almost a boy. Yesterday, this boy was talking about his family farm. Now, he is a silent heap. A thing, not a person. The line between being and not being is thin. It is absolute. One moment you are, the next you are not. There is no intermediate state, no graceful transition, just a sudden stop. This is not a philosophical problem. It is a physical reality. Gilson feels it in his bones, the cold seeping through his uniform, the hunger gnawing at his stomach, the weight of his rifle. His world has shrunk to these sensations, to the immediate, the undeniable. He crawls through a communication trench. The walls are a mix of clay and something else, something he tries not to think about. He is delivering a message, an order. Words that will send men to their death. Words are real too. They have consequences. They are not just sounds. They are actions. They tear flesh. They end lives. One night a shell explodes nearby. It throws him. It buries him in earth. The weight of the dirt is enormous. He cannot breathe. Panic scratches inside him. He is a thing, trapped in the dark. He claws his way up. He gasps for air. He is covered in mud and blood. He is alive. A simple, stupid, glorious fact. He exists. In that moment, something changes. The ideas from the university were pale ghosts. Here, in the mud, he finds the beginning of a real idea. An idea with weight. An idea forged in fire and fear. The world is not just in our heads. The world is what hits you, what starves you, what can kill you. Existence is not a concept for debate. It is a fact to be survived. This was the lesson of Verdun, the first, most important lesson of his life. He carried it out of the trenches. It became the core of everything he would write, the foundation of his entire philosophy. He was no longer just a sergeant. He was a witness to the terrible, beautiful reality of being. The treasure map. The war is over. Gilson walks the streets of Paris again. The city celebrates its survival. He carries the silence of Verdun inside him. The university feels wrong. The lecture halls are clean. The debates are weightless. Philosophers play with ghosts. They discuss concepts. They dissect ideas. They have forgotten the shock of existence. He knows a truth they have lost. He learned it in the mud. Now he needs words to name it. He searches for a weapon. Not a rifle, but a tool for the mind. Something strong enough to carry the weight of what he saw. He digs through the history of thought. He reads the modern thinkers. They disappoint him. Their philosophies are magnificent structures built inside their own skulls. They mistake the map for the territory. Gilson needs a philosophy that begins with the territory itself, with a simple, undeniable fact that things exist. He finds it in a place no one else is looking. The past, the Middle Ages. He opens the books of Thomas Aquinas. For his colleagues, this is a graveyard, a museum of dusty, irrelevant arguments about angels and God. They see dogma. They see superstition. Gilson sees something else entirely. He sees a treasure map. Aquinas writes about a word, a small Latin word. The word is esse. In English, it means to be. For centuries, philosophers treated this word like a simple link, a piece of grammatical glue. Gilson sees the secret everyone else missed. For Aquinas, esse is not a link, it is an action. It is a verb. The most important verb there is. Existence is not a property a thing possesses, like being red or heavy. Existence is the very act that makes a thing real. A thing is not a static object. A thing is an event. It is actively, constantly existing. Right now. This is the revelation. He watched a man become an object in the trenches. Aquinas gives him the language to understand why. The act of existing had simply stopped. Imagine a lamp. For years, philosophers described the shape of the lamp, the metal, the glass, the color of the light it might produce. Aquinas was the one who talked about the electricity, the current, the invisible power that makes the lamp shine. Without that current, the lamp is a dark, useless thing. For Aquinas, esse is the electricity. It is the act of existing that makes anything what it is. This idea changes everything for Gilson. It means reality is not a static photograph. It is a dynamic, unfolding event. Every rock, every tree, every person is continuously performing the act of being. This is not an abstract concept. It is the truth he felt in the trench when he clawed his way out of the earth. He was not just a collection of attributes. He was an act of survival, an act of being. His colleagues tell him he is digging up a fossil. They say medieval philosophy is dead. Gilson knows better. He has found his weapon, a secret hidden in plain sight for 700 years. The world is not just what we think about it. The world is what is, and the act of is the greatest mystery and the most powerful truth of all. He has his map. Now he is ready for the next war. The war of ideas, battle of giants, Paris, between the wars. The city breathes ideas. Cafes are filled with smoke and arguments. Everyone has a new philosophy, a new system to explain everything. The intellectual world is a boxing ring. In one corner, the champions of the mind. They believe reality is a construction, a story we tell ourselves. The world begins in our head. They are sophisticated, modern, popular. Into this ring steps Etienne Gilson. He does not look like a fighter. He is a quiet professor, but he carries the memory of Verdun like a hidden weight. He listens to the new philosophers. They talk about how consciousness shapes the world. They use elegant words. They build intricate theories. They sound brilliant. But to Gilson, they sound like ghosts. They sound like men who have never felt the earth shake from an artillery barrage. He waits for his moment. Then he speaks. His voice is not loud. It is heavy. He does not attack their logic. He attacks their starting point. They say reality is a thought. He says reality is what resists your thought. He tells them about the mud at Verdun. You can think the mud is not real, but the mud will still hold you. It will still swallow you. Reality is what does not care what you think. The other philosophers talk about perception. They say a tree is only a collection of sensations in our mind. The color green, the rough texture of the bark. Gilson asks them a simple question. Can a thought kill you? They laugh. It is a foolish question. He does not laugh. He remembers the boy from the farm. A piece of flying metal, a thing of pure existence, ended the boy's world of thought forever. Reality, Gilson insists, is what can kill you. The debates are legendary. They are not polite academic discussions. They are battles for the definition of truth. His opponents wield complex arguments like sharp rapiers. They try to trap him in paradoxes. They accuse him of being simple. of being a medieval relic. Gilson does not fence with them. He uses a hammer, the hammer of existence. He asks them, if the world is your own creation, why does it surprise you? Why does it hurt you? Why do you get sick? Why do you grow old? Why do you die? His questions are brutal. They are uncomfortable. They strip away the elegant theories and leave a raw nerve exposed. He is not just arguing a point, he is defending the dead. He is giving a voice to the terrible, solid reality that took their lives. He does not win everyone over. His philosophy, Christian realism, is not fashionable. It is too heavy, too demanding. It smells of earth and iron, not perfume and coffee. But he cannot be ignored. He is a rock in the middle of the river of ideas. The current of modern thought splits around him. He proves that a philosophy forged in experience is stronger than a philosophy spun from theory. He is the champion of the real, the giant who fights for a world that exists outside our minds. The battle for Paris is only the beginning. A greater darkness is gathering over Europe, and Gilson will have to face a new kind of war. Flight and legacy. The darkness returns. A new war. This one is different. The first war was a storm of iron, a mindless meat grinder. This new war has an idea, a sick, twisted idea that glorifies the will to power. It says that reality is what the strongest man says it is. It is the philosophy Gilson fought in the cafes of Paris. But now it wears a uniform and carries a gun. The year is 1940. The boots of the German army march on the Champs-Élysées. Paris, the city of light, goes dark. The intellectual debates stop. The cafes fall silent. Fear is the only argument left. Gilson's work, his defense of a reality independent of human will, becomes a crime. His insistence that every single being has its own intrinsic act of existence is the direct opposite of an ideology that sees entire peoples as worthless. He is not just a professor. He is an enemy of the new regime. He must leave. It is not a flight of cowardice. It is a strategic retreat. He is a guardian of a fragile flame of reason and faith that the new barbarians want to extinguish forever. He carries this flame across the Atlantic. He escapes France. He leaves behind his home, his library, his world. He arrives in North America, a new world, a world at peace, for now. A world that seems impossibly vast and quiet compared to the screams of Europe. He could rest. He could find a quiet university post and wait for the storm to pass. He does not. The war is not just fought on battlefields. It is fought in libraries. It is fought in classrooms. He immediately begins to build. In Toronto, Canada, he becomes a central figure in the creation of a new kind of institution, the Pontifical Institute of Medieval Studies. This is not just another university department. It is an ark. Gilson is building an ark for the mind. While European libraries are being bombed and burned, he gathers manuscripts. He trains scholars. He creates a sanctuary for the very knowledge the Nazis want to destroy. He brings the intellectual treasures of medieval Europe, the world of Aquinas, to a safe harbor. He is preserving the memory of a civilization that is trying to commit suicide. He teaches. His classes are packed. He speaks to young Americans and Canadians who have never known a world at war. He tells them about the long history of Western thought. He shows them that the ideas of freedom and human dignity are not new. They have deep roots, roots that go down into the bedrock of reality itself. He is not just teaching history. He is forging intellectual weapons. He is giving a new generation the tools to understand what they are fighting for. He writes. He works with a furious energy. Book after book pours from his pen. He is building a bridge of ideas back to his occupied homeland. He believes the war will end. He believes France will be free again. When that day comes, it will need more than just food and concrete. It will need its soul back. Gilson is preserving that soul. He is keeping the intellectual flame alive in exile, ready to be brought back home. His legacy is not just in the books he wrote. It is in the institution he built. It is in the students he taught. While his country was in chains, he was building the intellectual foundation for its rebirth. He was a philosopher in exile, fighting his own quiet, desperate war. The final word. The guns fall silent. The war ends. Europe is a landscape of ghosts and rubble. Cities are broken. So are souls. A new question hangs in the air, thick as smoke. If humanity can do this to itself, what is the point? The old answers, the old beliefs, feel hollow. A generation rises that has seen too much to believe in simple truths. The world feels absurd, meaningless. And from this abyss, new kings of thought emerge. Men like Jean-Paul Sartre, they have a philosophy for this broken world. It is called existentialism. They have a powerful, seductive message. They say there is no God. There is no grand plan. Existence comes first. You are born into a meaningless universe. Your life is a blank page. You are condemned to be free. You must create your own meaning, your own essence. This idea spreads like wildfire. It is the anthem of the lost. Etienne Gilson returns to France. He is an old man now. He walks the streets of a liberated Paris. But it is not his Paris anymore. The intellectual climate has changed. He is a hero of the past. A relic. His talk of Thomas Aquinas, of a reality grounded in the stable act of being, sounds like a whisper from another age. To the new generation, he is a man clinging to a comforting illusion. His philosophy is for a world that no longer exists. They see his realism as a retreat, his faith as a weakness. He could have retired. He had earned his rest. He had fought his wars. But Gilson sees a new kind of danger, a more subtle enemy than the one he faced in the trenches. He sees that the new freedom is a trap. It is a door that opens into an empty room. If you are truly free to invent any meaning, it means that no meaning is real. All values are just stories you tell yourself before you die. He sees this philosophy not as a liberation, but as the ultimate prison, a prison of nothingness. So he prepares for one last battle. He gathers all his strength, all his learning, all his experience. From the mud of Verdun to the lecture halls of Toronto, he delivers his final, most powerful statement. He gives his Christian realism its ultimate form. He speaks not to attack, but to build. He agrees that man is free, but he argues that true freedom is not the power to invent a reality. True freedom is the power to recognize the reality that is given to us. The world is not an absurd accident. The existence of every single thing, from a star to a stone to a person, is a gift. The act of being is not a blind, mechanical process. It is a continuous, deliberate act. Our purpose is not to create meaning from scratch. It is to discover the meaning that is already woven into the fabric of reality. This is his final word. It is more than a philosophical argument. It is a defense of hope. It is a defense of the inherent value of every life. It is his testimony, written in the language of reason, but born from the fire of experience. He is saying that the world is not a cold, empty place. It is charged with the grandeur of being. The idea he first grasped as a young sergeant, clawing his way out of the earth at Verdun, has become his ultimate gift to the future. The idea that reality is real, and that it is good. It is an idea that could save the world, or be ignored until the next fire.